look, as much as we've got to talk football tonight, we have to talk VAR, mate. And I've probably watched one of the worst games of football I think I've watched in a long, long time. That game was awful. Terrible game of football. Both teams don't really want to be in the competition because, the Premier League is
more important.
The more important thing right now, but they've got to play the fixture. Now they've got to go and play it again. I mean, what a bad night. Awful. But the VAR, the VAR, the sending off. Me and you have both played the game. I know the game's changed, Jermaine.
Yeah.
I know Calvert-Lewin is a little bit over the ball, but come on, mate.
There's hardly any contact.
It's not a red, is it? It's not a red.
If you want to give out a card, throw out a little yellow. It's not dangerous. It's not actually made full contact with was it Klein?
Yeah.
It wasn't a terrible tackle. There was no malice in it. There's no danger to the player. There's
no danger to the player because I have to play devil's advocate because I'm sat in his seat, so I've got to try and balance the argument to a certain degree, but even though I don't agree with it. He's over the ball. He doesn't catch the player enough for me for it to be a red card. No. But he is over the ball, and if the player does go through, he could hurt him. That's where the argument is, and that's where VAR have obviously had to say to him, you've got to go and have a look at it. But, mate, come on.
But is there enough contact to say red card? That's like me saying I could do a fly kick over the ball, miss someone, but get sent off for it.
Well, yeah, you will.
No, but if I don't touch him, then it's ridiculous. There's not enough contact to warrant a red card. Yellow card at max. Yes, his studs were showing, but how many times in a match are your studs showing when you go into to win a ball or whatnot? Or whatnot. So for him to go to get sent to the monitor, you've got to be looking at people who's played the game. The people who are making the decisions have not kicked a ball. They've never played the game. They don't understand. All they're seeing is stud showing, slight contact.
Stick to the rules.
Yeah.
And look, for me, Jermaine, it's ruining our game. It really is. I keep saying it, and it's getting boring that I have to keep coming on this radio station and talk about VAR when I just want to talk about decent games of football. The game is terrible. Crystal Palace were awful. Everton weren't any better, really. Both teams, though, you can argue they've had a really busy period in over Christmas, trying to stay in the Premier League, grinding out results, trying to get results, and then they got to play an FA Cup fixture, and now they got to play another one. They've got to replay that game. No one wants to see that, Jermaine. No one wants to see that game again.
I don't think
just
the
go to penalties. Go to penalties, and then that's it. Move on.
Yeah,
you're in, you're out. See you later.
But I just want to say that Calvert-Lewin could potentially now miss 3 games.
Yeah,
for something. A key player in that team for their battle.
He's missed 3 games for that.
Yeah, it's a straight red dangerous tackle, 3-game ban.
So he's going to miss 3 massive games for Everton. Yeah. They're trying to stay in the Premier League. They've had it against them already this season, and now they've lost their key striker for a tackle that really and truthfully does not warrant being sent off on a football.
It'll be 2 games. One will be the replay, but I think they should go and appeal. I think they've got a lot of grounds to go and appeal.
He's going to miss Villa at home and Fulham away, and obviously the FA Cup replay. So, is it worth appealing? Is it worth it? Sean Dyche's probably is it worth it? They don't get anywhere. What they're dealing with. Who are they dealing with when they go and appeal to these things? Are they dealing with anyone who's ever actually played Premier League football?
This is what frustrates me. I think you've got people in these powers and higher powers who are making decisions who've never even kicked a ball at any level. And it's so frustrating.
Yeah. It's killing the game, it really is. You can have your saying it. You want to Everton fans come on and have a rant about that decision on Calvert-Lewin. And look, we can obviously talk about the performance as well. It wasn't a great night really for football in terms of it being a decent fixture. But the FA Cup is back. What did you make of it? Do you think it's lost its magic a little bit, the FA Cup? Do you think teams now are a little bit like, not really bothered if we're in or out? Replays as well. No one wants to see that game again, do they, really? I know, for Wrexham, it might be good, or, you get an extra few quid in the bank. I understand that. I really do get it. But, just have a penalty shootout, and if you get through, great. And if you don't, then you're out. Simple as that. Let's go to John, who's an Everton fan. John.
Hi, mate. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, John. How are you?
Jamie, I spoke with you earlier in the start of the season when it was going on about this 10-point deduction and things like that, and I said, people laugh and joke about conspiracies, but that red card, seriously, I understand the referee can't see everything on the pitch and why VAR's there. If a player's endangered, or can potentially... There's no way on God's earth. You have to go for the ball with your foot at that angle to retrieve the ball, which Calvert-Lewin was trying to do. And that happens on a football pitch 100 times a game. It's just... And then to compound it, what the Evertonians now are going mad about is Beto is through on goal, and the man has got both of his arms around him. Now, again, the referee might not have seen it, but why on earth are VAR not looking at that? The Everton get everything looked at all the time, over and over again, and it's just starting to get to the point where...
Do you think there's a conspiracy against you, John? Is that what you're saying? You think someone's out to get Everton?
Can you watch that game and say why would Everton? Another point, and I know it's going back over old ground, but if you go into administration, you get a 9-point deduction. We've got one case of financial fair play, and we get a 10-point deduction. They're just changing the rules as they go along. And what you said about VAR, it makes me angry about the game. And the game was a horrible thing to watch.
It was awful.
But then again, you know, Jake, there's 7,000 fans from Everton gone to that game today.
I know.
You know what I mean? And to be let down by the referee again, that's what it is. And VAR have let them down again. And it is important for Calvert-Lewin. We should appeal that and say, listen, you've got to endanger a man. You wouldn't endanger a child, that tackle. Let's be honest about it. The man there's no way on any football match in the world where you would say he's endangered that man, or he's gone in maliciously, or he's looking to hurt him. It's just didn't happen. And they're trying to find things that aren't there. And that's what makes us angry. Besides that, you said who wants to see the game again. I'm happy we got a replay and we can go and turn them over at Goodison and build some momentum.
Are you though, John? Are you? The FA Cup means nothing for Everton this year. Let's be honest. It's all about staying in the Premier League. You know that. Sean Dyche knows that. Everyone knows that. Everton got to stay in the Premier League. You've had it rough already with the deduction, and you've had some decent form, even though you've slipped off recently. You don't want this FA Cup fixture again. You don't. It's just going to be in the middle of Premier League games.
It's going to be raining.
And you just don't. You don't need it.
I wasn't talking to Red Nose. He can stay out of this conversation. I'm talking to you, Jamie. You know what I mean? Hey, sit and twisted. Listen, I'll go and have a word with my mate, Big Duncan, to come round and have a word with you. Don't behave yourself, Mr. Pennant. You know what I mean, Jamie, though? It's just spoiling the game, isn't it? It doesn't matter whether it was a great game or a rubbish game or whatever. When VAR is the main talking point after a game, you know something's gone wrong. And that's what it is again. And it's just so frustrating and so upsetting. It can't carry on. Something needs to be done.
I think there's a conspiracy to Everton. I really do.
John,
you don't, you Red Nose. Behave yourself.
John, thanks for your call, mate.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.